Hi 341 students, this is Dr. Stowe. Just wanted to talk to you about our final. So for some of you, but just finished revising in a pretty profound way the final for our abnormal psychology. And that means that in the past, I used to love these little vignettes. I'd start a story describing a client, 2 or 3, 4 sentences. Then I'd have about 5 questions related to that story. Well, that's all gone because I don't have control with this testing process over the order as much as I would like. Anyway, for this test, about half of it will be concerning symptoms. Sorry, you hear my cat doing his thing behind me. But half symptoms for all the disorders we've studied. The exam covers everything starting from chapter 4, chapter 2 too, about theory, through aging and personality disorders and so on. There's also some emphasis on the brain circuits and the components of the brain circuits. So in the course pack at the very beginning of chapter 2, which is our theory chapter, I've got a list that I compiled from all our chapters of the various circuits for OCD or eating disorders and panic disorder and so on. So it would be to your advantage to make sure you're familiar with that list. Try to identify something unique, like a unique structure for something like panic, and a unique maybe couple of structures for eating disorders. Then it's easier to remember what those circuits entail. And if you remember, it's not just one structure, it's usually structures working together. So half of the exam is all about, the various kinds of symptoms and structures and so on. The other half is about theory. And so we've covered 6 theories in this class. Make sure you're really clear about cognitive behavioral theory, how it differs from a psychobiological theory, various kinds of psychological, biological therapy as well. So we're going to be looking at symptoms, at therapies, at theory, and hopefully it's a way to pull it all together. There will not be any questions from chapter 1 or chapter 3 because that was covered pretty much in exercises we did at the beginning of the semester. So for chapter 1, that would have been the 4D exercises, and chapter 3 was all about your client therapist experience. So that's what you should focus on. And it's going to be longer kind of format, so 100 questions instead of 50, each worth 2 points. So that's 200. That's a big chunk of your grade, big chunk of change, and that will be great. Now, I also want to talk once again about my grading process. Don't get too carried away with all the percentages that you see on Canvas, because I don't use Canvas to do my final grading. What I do use is Excel. And so as soon as you're done grading, I download onto an Excel spreadsheet all the points, and then I put a little algebraic formula together. So I tell Excel, hey, with these 3, exam 1, 2, and 3, look through those columns, find the minimum score, and eliminate it. And then I also, of course, add everything together after that, all your points for extra credit or not, and the points, many points for all of our written assignments. I then divide by 500. And I'm a fast grader. I like to give you your information ASAP after the exam. So hopefully you'll know either that day or early the next day, but usually I'm day of. So it doesn't help to contact me, 2 days later and beg me to change your grades, because I've already put the grades in. And I just really am very conscientious that way and disciplined that way. That's I think, the best for relieving anxiety, both my anxiety and yours. And so, anyway, no begging after the fact. You earned what you earned. I do try really hard to be fair. So, for instance, if someone has an 89.54, I will probably pop you up into the A- category. But if you've got an 88, hey, that's why I've got my B+ category. So, it's just being fair, and I do work for the good of the group. So anyway, want to wish you the best on the exam. And if you have questions, the course assistants will be happy to answer them. I will also be happy to answer them. And the course assistants will also be holding an exam review. So want to thank you for participating in this kind of impersonal experience this semester.